Nexon has done it again. Keelan is a wrecking machine, dashing through enemies like Prancer in the snow. His second and third abilities hitting hard enough to comfortably solo any content from 400% dungeons on down. Let's take a look at his build. We'll start off with the mods and we'll work our way through the reactors and his components on the final step. So just to go into the build here, we're looking at Keelan. Right? Keelan is a descendant that has very little, if no critical hit damage or critical hit rate. So there's no point in focusing on it, basically. So we won't be focusing on it. Instead, we'll look at the build real quickly. Now, I do not have a Transcendent mod here at the moment. Mobile Strike turns Septic Gust into adjusted to deal no damage. So your third ability becomes mute, doesn't do anything. And basically, when you activate it, it allows your second ability to be used without using up any of its stacks, or to be used even if you don't have any stacks. So you get maybe 3 or 4 more shots at it. And then this becomes mute again, and basically it has a really long cooldown. So I haven't seen a really good use case for this yet. Focus on Prey, his other one takes his Void Corrosion, which is his first ability, and instead of shooting it at 10 different targets, focuses it on one target, which again doesn't make a whole lot of sense, certainly not in a mobbing situation. Maybe in a bossing situation. We'll have to see how this stacks up in a boss, and I'll try that again later. But for now, we are looking at Keelan as a mobbing build. So in the mobbing build here, as you can see, we are focusing on toxic and using toxic amplification to even further increase the amount of toxic damage that he can do, because we're not getting crit hits, or we don't have any crit hit rate or crit hit damage. And then we're focusing on singular, because his abilities that we are focusing on, the second ability and the third ability, are singular abilities. So we're using focus on singular and focus and singular amplification to boost that even further. Now, the main thing we want here is to be able to use those abilities continuously, and the cooldowns, particularly on his second ability, are pretty long, so we want to focus on getting that down as much as possible. We can do that with MP conversion and nimble fingers, as well as those 2 focus mods, so that's important. In addition to that, we want to get range. Now, we don't have to get stupid range. We could get more range than we have. We need about 250%, because if you look at his ability here, max radius is 250%. So we cannot make this any more powerful. Max expandable range down there at the bottom, you can see, is 250%. The same thing is true with his second ability. So we can stack that, and it's going to give us 250%. Now, the advantage here is that, and you can see this by the gameplay footage that we've shown already, and that it's very clear that we are able to get way more than just the damage of someone we're running through. We're actually getting 5.4 meters long, because that's how far we're dashing, and 2.7 meters wide. So we get a pretty good amount there. And then the burst radius, the burst damage radius, goes out to 13.5 meters. So when we get to the end of that, that piercing, then the range is just incredible. So, you can see that everything around where we've dodged dies. It's very, very good at clearing out enemies and clearing out large groups. Certainly, decimates in this 400% mission. So clearly a powerful build from that standpoint. So the other thing, as we said, we're looking at range. We want skill effect range, get us up to that 92.3%, and then amplification control gives us a little bit more range, and then adds to that shield. Like I said, there's things that could give us more range, but this really is all we need. And then after that, some health, just so that when we do stand around and we're not in the pack really taking everything out with our dash or with our second or third ability, that we can sustain a couple hits. Decimator is really good here because we are adding a debuff, or inflicting a debuff, and then that makes our skill power plus 5% per defeated enemy up to 10 seconds, and stacks 10 times. So it gives us 50% increase in damage. Really good here, and certainly makes it where he can continually just erase large packs of enemies. That's extraordinary. From here, let's go into the reactor. We're using a toxic mixture reactor with beam rifle obviously rolled on it for the new seasonal content. This is a toxic fusion reactor. We could easily get a toxic singular reactor, this would be better. I don't have a good toxic singular reactor. His other two skills are fusion, so this does power his first ability and his fourth ability, which does help, but I would rather flip this and have, you know, fusion on his singular reactor rather than having, you know, singular on the fusion reactor, but it works. Skill effect range certainly helps us as well, so this is giving us that added boost that we're getting from our range and allowing us to use fewer mods and be able to use that decimator mod. As far as external components are concerned, actually let me do something really quickly here, move the camera out of the way. With the external components, what we're looking at here is the distorted resolve. This gives us assault rifle and submachine gun damage, but also increases toxic skill power up to 7.15% based on the HP lost relative to max HP when current HP is 1, toxic skill power plus 14.3%. So it has a 5% chance to recover 3.2% shields each time you inflict an enemy with a debuff, which you're doing constantly. And successfully part destruction grants 5 stacks of exaltation for 300 seconds. Exaltation fires a guided projectile. So this just really helps to aid in the amount of damage that we're putting out. So we are using this. We're looking at module drop rate. Obviously isn't ideal here. We'd rather have some kind of MP or HP recovery. Max HP on this one, and then HP recovery on the next one with max MP. MP doesn't really work for him. He doesn't have MP, so this set is all using MP related. You know, is going to be lost on him. So defense and shield recovery in combat's a really good role for the memory, and then on the processor, max shield with some type of shield modifier would be better, but we've got item acquisition distance instead. But this is the best rolls I have on this gear set at the moment. We'll have to start farming for those again, and we'll also have to farm for a reactor with a singular roll on it, and then with a singular toxic, and then with the fusion roll on it rather. Weapons-wise, we are using Voltea. We've covered that extensively already in another video, so I won't be covering it here. But we're just using that because it is, you know, for the content this time around. It's a very good weapon. And then Thunder Cage for some ad clear, and then a shotgun for some more ad clear, because he's up close and friendly all the time. So this is important to keep his weapons also up close and friendly. We're not doing anything from a distance. But that is it for Keelan. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. We are not currently a monetized channel, so any likes, subscribes, and comments are greatly appreciated. If you'd like to support us further, you can go on in the Nexon site, because we are a Nexon creator, and you can support us there by using this creator code. This will support us greatly, so thank you again for that. If you'd like to support us even further, you could go down below. It's one of the links below. You'll find the Humble Bundle link that will take you to some discounted games. That discount will be applied. We will get credit for the sale, but we don't affect the price of any of those games when you do that. Otherwise, thank you again for watching, and we will see you in the next one.